we have a new tool to help you with security. What's up, everybody? Mel here again with Sunrise Compass. User security is something we all touch, but let's face it, not everybody enjoys it. But luckily, the new user security governance tool gives us a more structured and visual way to manage roles and responsibilities. So I brought in Carly Goff, who's already been looking into it, to break it down for us. What's up, Carly? Welcome back to the studio.
Thanks, Mel. Happy to be here.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. This new user security governance tool. What's it all about? Why did Microsoft introduce it now?
Yeah, it's a new way to create, maintain, and audit security. So I like to break it down to those three aspects. A new way to create security around the process, a new way to audit your licensing, and also make sure you're aligned with segregation of duty rules. And Microsoft really introduced it because security has always been a headache. And so this is much more user-friendly and easier to just maintain along the way.
So how is this different than how security is managed today, where it's a very manual process of assigning duties and privileges to a role, assigning that role to a user, testing it, and iterating it, which can take some time, right? As you well know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what makes this new tool different?
The coolest part about this tool is you can take task recordings and create your security roles based on those task recordings. So while a subject matter expert is preparing for a CRP and creating their SOPs, they can use the task recordings and create their security roles based on that. The new security governance shifts security design from a technical object-based focus to one that reflects how users are actually working in the system. So it really focuses on the business process instead of the manual way of looking at the objects and creating new duties and privileges and testing out your security roles with trial and error. So really user-friendly, and it really offloads a lot of the work from the security admin to the subject matter experts who are already creating their SOPs and doing these task recordings.
I see. So the task recordings, which have to be done anyway to create your standard operating procedures for your testing sessions like CRP or for any reason whatsoever, right? Even after go live, you have to still keep maintaining security. So those task recordings can be used not only for that, but also for this.
Exactly. Two birds, one stone.
I like that. I like that a lot. Efficiency. And then being business process focused, like this new tool is awesome as well, because that's what we try to concentrate on here at Sunrise. But that's actually a good thing for everybody to remember is when you're working with these tools and you're working with an ERP, it needs to be business process focused and people focused and not necessarily focused on the technology.
Yep,
Right.
you're exactly right.
So this helps make that happen. Okay.
And Task Recorder, for those who may not know, is just the functionality that allows you to record your steps in the system, creates an outline document with all your clicks, and then it is able to capture all of your privileges and duties that you need for that security role.
All right, Carly, let's see this thing in action.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Here's the new Security Governance Security Process Roles Maintain form. I'll walk you through how to create security roles from task recordings. First, you can see you can categorize your roles by a new security category. I'll be working in the warehouse category today. For the sake of this demo, I'll create a new process for a traffic manager. Now I can manually create security tasks, or I can upload a task recording. Here I'll upload a task recording of the process of maintaining shipments and manually building loads. Once the recording is uploaded, it automatically captures all of my clicks in the system, called entry points. These entry points can be clicks to access forms, data, reports, etc., and can have read, update, create, correct, delete, and invoke rights. You can also manually create these entry points if needed. I can continue adding more task recordings and creating more duties, but once I've captured everything I need, I'll create a new role. And now you're all set with a brand new security role based on processes.
I love to see that this is more automated and focused around the business process and less manual.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So I heard you mention earlier something about licensing. So how does this new security tool add visibility into that?
Yeah, there's a new form that'll take all of your roles and it'll tell you which license is required for that role. So it's really cool because then you can kind of dig into those roles and see, is there one entry point or one particular table that that person's accessing that's requiring the higher license. So it really allows you to maintain those roles and make sure you have the correct licensing and make adjustments to maybe lower your licensing costs.
Wow. That's pretty cool but that's another manual thing that you have to keep track of, the licensing part too.
Yeah.
All right. So in addition to all these details you've given us so far, do you have any other notable features that you want to mention?
Yeah, there's two cool features I want to talk about. First is the temporary role assignment, which allows you to automatically merge or swap roles. So this will be very useful for like parental leave or extended vacation or something. You can automatically assign a temporary role for a given amount of time, and it's automated. So you don't have to like set an alarm to go back in and switch that person's security. And the second one is a privileged user access, which we call like the firefighter role. So it allows somebody for a very temporary amount of time go in the system and act above their security privilege. So think of something as right after go live, they need to go fix a configuration, but they don't usually have security for that. They can go in and the system will actually log everything they're doing as they're acting as a privileged user. So you get an audit log of everything they're doing in the system. It's currently in preview in 10.0.43, but it'll be generally available later this summer. And as far as getting started, you just have to go activate the feature, and then you can start filling out the parameters and playing around with the new forms.
All right. And checking out all the documentation that Microsoft has.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have any gotchas for people to watch out for?
Yeah, well, this feature is still in preview, so it's going to change before it's generally available. And then also, it doesn't enforce segregation of duties. So it allows you to highlight any issues with segregation of duties, but those all have to be adjusted manually. So just don't expect it to automatically enforce your segregation of duties.
So no matter what your role, you really need to take a look at this tool, right? Because it's all about clarity, accountability, maybe even a little less chaos in your security model. So whether you're rolling this out for audit purposes or you're just trying to figure out who owns what, you need to take a look at this new capability. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me, Carly.
Thanks for having me, Mel.
All right, and catch you all next time on Sunrise Compass. See you later.